Stefan Hammond, Managing Editor, Telecom Asia. We're here with Mr. George Chundu, Senior Solutions Architect, Huawei Southern Pacific Region. Mr. Chundu, mobile broadband is growing rapidly in Asia. How can service providers improve service quality for end users?
First of all, what I've seen in my role in Huawei, because I'm responsible for several countries in Asia in my role as a senior solution architect. So we deal with a lot of customers. And what we have seen is, first of all, a lot of service providers, they are trying to provide the best possible services that they can provide to their customers, because first of all, they have a lot of competition from the, from other players as well in this industry. So most of the countries in Asia, service providers face stiff competition. So they don't really need much motivation to provide good services to their customers. Now, to answer your question, I think service providers need to look at the customers themselves. So if you look at Asia, Asia is definitely one of the fastest growing regions in the world in terms of broadband. Countries like Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, they are pretty much at the forefront in cutting edge technologies in mobile broadband. Things like LTE Advanced and things like that. Technologies like that are very, very popular in South Korea and Japan in particular, and also in Australia. So what service providers can do is to look at the actual services and the customer expectations of whilst they're using those services. For example, customers in Asia, they demand higher broadband. So that is something that obviously service providers need to look at to make sure that they meet the broadband demand. But it's not just about bandwidth. It's also about meeting all the various service requirements. Each service is different in terms of the requirements that they require to guarantee the experience or the good experience of that particular service. For example, with voice, it's about the crystal clear experience. When you're making a phone call, you want it to be smooth, you want it to be clear. With video applications, it's about how smooth the video is without any freezing of the image and things like that. And of course, with internet, it's about how fast the data browsing and downloading of movies and things like that. So I think service providers need to look at the user demand and then try to meet that demand as much as they can.
How can we measure and quantify real-time service performance?
So I think we need to start at looking at the various service requirements. Like, for example, if you want to measure and quantify a video service performance, for example, you have to look at what do the users care about. If a person is watching a YouTube video, one of the things that they don't like to see is how many times does it freeze. And also another thing that is important is when you click on the video, how long does it take for the video to actually play? So that is important. So some of the things that you can do is to put that in a mathematical equation where you can actually measure and quantify the performance of that particular service. Now, just switching gears to, let's say, voice. What do people care about when they're making a voice call? What is called the mouth-to-ear latency. How long it takes when I speak, and how long does it take for the receiver to actually hear what I say? So things like that. And also the call success ratio and things like that. So with each service, you can actually measure, if you have the right tools in place in your network, you can actually measure and basically put a figure to the quality of that particular service. So this is something that Huawei is actually looking at.
And how do we map that to real-time network performance?
We have other tools that focus on measuring the network performance. So you have a network and you have all these different types of services running on the network, and then we can measure things like delay, jitter, packet loss, bandwidth utilization in real time of all the various services that are running on the network. And then what we can do is to map that to the service performance. So we call the service performance Key Quality Indicator, or KQI, and the network performance KPI. So we can actually, if you have the right tools in place in your network, you can actually map the network performance to the service performance. So you know, for example, if you have this kind of performance, let's say the users are using YouTube and things like that, and then the experience is bad, you can actually see where in the network is causing that kind of problem. So we have the technology in place in Huawei to actually do that.
Please describe the best experience mobile bearer solution.
We look at best experience mobile bearer solution from two aspects. The first one is from the end user's point of view. So what do the user care about? The user doesn't really care about the kind of technologies that are running, that are being implemented on the network. What the user cares about is, how fast is their internet speed? How clear, how smooth is their voice call? When they're watching a video, online streaming, Netflix or etc., can they get HD content, and is it smooth? So this is what the user cares about. They don't really care how that is done, but they care about what they get. So best mobile experience, as far as the user is concerned, is about how we can guarantee that the user gets, from his perspective, he gets that best experience from the services. And then that's one part of the best user experience solution, to guarantee the user experience, the end user experience for the services that they're using. Secondly is looking at the service provider who's providing those services to the user. So for the service provider is the best O&M experience. What do we mean by an O&M is operation and maintenance. So when the service provider is managing the network, first of all, they need to make sure that they have a visible network where they see real time exactly what's going on across the entire network. And if there are any faults in the network, they can locate those faults in a very fast and proactive way. So that is the best O&M experience from the service provider's point of view. So I think we believe in Huawei that a best mobile experience includes both from the user's perspective and from the service provider's perspective. So it's an end-to-end concept that should include these two parts.